welcome to your 6-month tarot reading. We are going to dive into the energies of the next 6 months, particularly because it is a very significant time frame for each of us. Okay. So before we dive into it, I do want to, first of all, thank each one of you who have subscribed. I've reached over 100 subscribers. My channel's new, so every one of you that are appreciating this content, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. So those of you who have not yet subscribed, please do and hit the notification bell. Also, remember to like the video and make comments. Leave comments. I'd love to hear from you and get to know those of you who are interested in what I'm bringing forward. So thank you again. Next, I would like to just let each one of you know that this intro will be in every one of your readings, okay? Because I do not want to potentially miss something, as this information is so important. By repeating it 12 times, that can get kind of redundant, first of all. And secondly, as it goes on, I may end up forgetting a piece or two. So we don't want that to happen. So typically I give each one of you your own special time in the beginning. But at this point, let's go ahead and just be all on one page, because even though it's going to impact us differently, and that's why you'll each have a reading, right? But the energies are affecting all of us. Okay. So the reason this is so significant is because Chiron has just gone into retrograde. Now, every one of us has a Chiron placement in our chart, in our natal chart. Oh, I should also say, I am not an astrologer. Okay. I am not. I am a tarot reader, but I am very sensitive to current energies. Okay. And when I feel the planet shifting, when I feel something significant, like I did this last December when Chiron went direct, I felt very impacted on looking at the Chiron wound. And many of you may be feeling very impacted by this Chiron retrograde. Okay. Um, and you may have been really dealing with your Chiron wound as of last December. It may have flared up for you also. So what is the Chiron wound? What am I talking about? So if you're not familiar, the Chiron wound is a wound that you would have had since birth, okay? And it will have impacted you throughout your entire life. Now, let's dive into Chiron's story, because we'll need to make some parallels here so that it really gives you the depth of what's going on. So, Chiron was conceived in in a rape condition. Okay, so his mother was, okay? So what happened is, let's do this. Let's really chat. All right. So what happened was Saturn came to Earth to see his son Zeus, or Jupiter, and he fell in love, or was taken back, very much interested in a water nymph. And he pursued her, and she just continued to not be interested in him and escaping him. So she comes to Zeus, or Jupiter, and asks him to turn her into a horse, a mare, so that she can get away from Saturn. And so he does. Well, Saturn finds out, and he turns himself into a stallion, and he meets up with her, and they produce a child. So when it's time for her to give birth, she goes up into the mountains and she births this child. And because they were, had been horses at the time, she gave birth to a half human, half boy, and half horse, half stallion. Okay. So she was mortified at this. She was embarrassed. She did not want to raise this child. So she abandoned him in a field. And she went back to Zeus and asked him to turn her into a tree. And he did. So that's mom. Mom's out of the picture. But you can see where he was conceived in a trauma, and then at birth, he had a trauma. This is where it begins to parallel our lives, okay? Because you will have this in your chart. This wound has been placed there, and you chose this at a soul level of what you wanted to really be an impact. Now, where this is really great is Chiron is also known as the wounded healer. So a shepherd found him in the field and takes him to the temple of Apollo. And Apollo and his sister Athena, Artemis. I am so sorry, you guys. I want to say Athena, but it could have been Artemis. Okay. So whoever is Apollo's sister. Okay. So they raised him and gave him an elite education. He learned prophetic abilities. He learned the healing arts and medicine. He learned art itself and the beauty of art. And he learned the ways of a noble warrior, where fighting is the last option when it comes to war. Okay. And he taught a lot of gods and heroes, which are demigods. He taught a lot of them throughout history and or Greek mythology. Okay. So he taught a lot of them. Later, he ended up sustaining his own physical wound. Okay, he was in battle with Hercules. They were on the same team. Hercules had an arrow that was had been dipped in poison made by a god, and had shot his target, and it went through the target and hit Chiron in either the thigh or the knee, depending on which story you're looking at. So he was wounded, and because he is a demigod, um, he could not die, and because it was a poison that was created by a god, he could not heal it. So he asked for his immortality to be taken from him so that he could die from this wound. And so he did. Now there's another part of the story where it branches off, and he sends Hercules to free Prometheus, which, I mean, it kind of pertains because Prometheus is Aquarius energy, but we're not going to go into that. We could, but not today. Not today. Okay, so we all know that Pluto is in Aquarius right now, and Pluto is helping us to mine. Oh, it does. Ah, sorry, that's why it's coming up. Okay, see, this is why I didn't want to repeat it 12 times. Okay, so Prometheus is the energy is some of Aquarius. Okay, Prometheus had stole the fire back for man, because he, according to Greek mythology, he created man, so he was aligned not with the god Zeus, who took the fire as punishment from man. He went actually to Apollo and got the fire back from the sun and gave it back to man. Okay, so and then Zeus had him apprehended and chained him to a pillar, and had an eagle come and eat out his liver every day, repeatedly, for forever, for eternity, or until a hero demigod came and rescued him or saved him. And so when Chiron, and I'm not sure exactly how it takes his immortality away, but it does. When he sends Hercules to free Prometheus, because we know Hercules is a demigod, he's a hero. When he frees him, Chiron is able to then be mortal now. Okay, and so he goes and he lives with the other centaurs, which were brutes. They come from a very different lineage, a dark lineage, and they were just kind of beasts. They were unruly. They obeyed no law, right? And they had their way. They would terrorize villages and had their way with women, drank too much, just kind of did their own thing at their own will. Well, Chiron went and lived with them for 700 years, and he was able to teach them all of the things that he had learned with his education with gods, and help to civilize these centaurs. And now we all, in just broad strokes of mythology, if you're not going too deep into it, you can see where centaurs are actually noble creatures in many depictions. Okay, so this is how they got there, was Chiron. Okay, so how does this affect you? Well, your Chiron wound connects directly with your purpose. And we know Chiron's in Aries. We know that our North Node currently is in Aries. Okay. And as of last year's, is it last year's or this or both? I'm not sure. Anyway, as of the eclipse of it was the eclipse that had to do with Aries and Libra. Okay, which is where the north and south nodes are. It opens up this portal for us to be able to heal it. Okay, especially when Chiron, that was this last spring. Okay, Chiron went direct last December. Now he's retrograde again. Okay, and in his retrograde, he's retrograding with Pluto. That's why it was important for me to mention Aquarius energy, because Pluto is in Aquarius now, just like Prometheus or Aquarius, has stolen the fire because he was back for man, because he was aligned to his creation. He was aligned to his own purpose, and not disobeying some godhead. That's what Aquarius is asking each one of us to do, is to be able to step into our authentic self and align ourselves with our own purpose, our own creations, the creation of your own life. Now, what does Pluto have to do with it? So Pluto is Hades. Okay. Pluto is, and the reason why they have two names is, if you don't know, is that Greek mythology, they have one name, and Roman mythology was derived from Greek mythology, is what all the planets are named after, is the Roman god names. Okay. So they're the same people. So, all right. So now, but their stories are just, they're extended stories with the Roman mythology. Okay. So let's go back to Aquarius here. And this Aquarius energy now we know that Pluto went into Aquarius, right? As of earlier this year, finally went, to stay there for a period of time. I think it's doing, when a retrograde, it does touch back into Capricorn for just a moment. But when it does go retrograde, as Pluto retrogrades, it is going to create a conjunction with Chiron. And Pluto, like I said, is Hades, which is your own personal underworld. Now, that can sound a little bit scary, going into your own personal hell, right? And we can all agree that the wound that we've carried with our own life has been our own personal hell. Well, the beauty of Pluto is that Pluto mines the wealth that is under the surface. Okay. So if Pluto is helping, so they're going to go conjunct in like the same degree, like 21 degrees, 20 degrees, and 19 degrees, when they are doing this dance together, Pluto and Chiron. So as Chiron's in retrograde and as Pluto's in retrograde, and they're going to be, like I said, doing this, Pluto's going to help you get underneath everything and help you to recognize where all of the skills, all of the talents, all of the things that you personally have been able to cultivate from a wounded state, just like Chiron did when he received his education. So, and retrograde Chiron's going to help you take a look, revisit that wound, but it's going to be in a very beautiful, harmonious way to help you release it once and for all, to align you with your purpose. Okay. This is your Chiron, the wounded healer. As you, as you heal that wound, it becomes your biggest medicine. Your biggest wound throughout your life becomes your biggest medicine, and becomes prevalent within achieving your own personal purpose, your own personal destiny, which is promise that you made to yourself when you chose to come into this lifetime. So you can see how all these things are working together, and the stories really parallel what's going on with your life. Now, as I've done a little bit of research, I have discovered that the Chiron wound can often be connected to the mother wound. So, looking at where your moon is in your chart, the mother wound, by looking at the moon in your chart. Now, why the moon? Because the moon does represent mother figure, the maternal aspects within each of us, the mother figures that we have had in our life, you as a mother figure to other people, whatever that looks like for you. But this Chiron wound, may have something to do with wounds that your own mother had. You may have gotten this in utero, which can be often called like karmic or ancestral wounds, right? But you'll notice, as you take a look at the things that have been really activated over this last 7 months, especially, um, may have something to do with what your mother dealt with and you have been perpetuating in your own life. Okay. Now, what's really interesting, when I said it's a beautiful, harmonious, take a look at it, not to scare you, not to fear this healing, but in a way that's actually going to move, because Venus is helping us out, and Venus knows what your desire is. And your desire is to feel fulfilled and purposeful in your life in your own unique way. Again, touching back to that Aquarius energy, right? You being unique, being yourself. It's sort of like rebellion energy of like, I don't need a godhead or some system telling me what I need to do. I need to be listening to my own inner guidance. Now, Venus is at the tail end of Leo. We're about to have a new moon in Leo on the 4th of August. Huge, huge part of this story. Why? Because like I said, Venus is helping you to achieve what is the most desired for you. Venus also rules Libra, which is the South Node. South Node has been working on taking you out of your comfort zones in order to achieve your destiny. And so, but Venus is also connected to the ruling planet of your um your money and your love. Okay, Venus rules both. So when we are in love with our life, when we are in harmony with our own purpose, okay, how where we feel the spark of life, where we feel the spark of joy, where we feel satisfied in our life, it is always easier to become financially, more well off and be be more open to love and loving relationships in our life. Okay. So we have this huge love element that is supporting this final healing of our wound. Now, typically somebody would have to wait 50 years for Chiron to orbit and have a return in our life. It returns every 50 years. So usually only once in a lifetime. But you may not be 50. Yeah, chances are most of you are not 50 years old watching this video. Some of you may be right around there, but we're able to really allow this wound to become our greatest medicine, our greatest purpose because of this retrograde and with Pluto and this final release of it, and not have to wait until that space and time when we are right around 50 years old. So this is miraculous. This is huge. This is a really big deal. So, what I want to do is I want to dive into the tarot with each one of you and find out what that overlighting energy looks like for you. So you may or may not be familiar with your natal chart. A lot of people don't have the information of what time they were born, so that makes it difficult to get a full picture of your natal chart. So let's rely on another tool to find out what is going to be activated within you in order to create this different storyline. You literally are able to rewrite the story of your life and make a huge quantum leap and shift upwards towards the things that you have desired for yourself. Okay. So let's find out which with each sign. I would like for you to, if you're interested, look at, oh, I'm so sorry. See? Again, glad I didn't do this 12 times. With Venus being in Leo, Leo, the sun, right? Okay, Leo the Leo sign is the sun. We're looking at father figure and your external external material world. You and the external, I'm saying that right? You and your external world, okay? So now you could be looking at, so what we have the opportunity here for, again, is now not only healing a wound that had been created within our mother relationship, we also have the ability to heal a wound within our father relationship, because father figure, and you in your external world. Okay. So whatever that looks like for you, we all have these feminine and masculine energies within us. Every one of us does. Every one of us has some sort of a relationship, whether they were involved in our life or not, with father, mother figures, either how you have been that for other people, how other people have been that for you. And now it is time for us to be able to do that for ourselves. Again, we are rising to be independent, okay, but have interdependent relationships because, again, Pluto and Aquarius setting the tone for this generation is all about each one of us being able to self resource, for us to be able to soothe ourselves and give ourselves what we need in order to be strong, the strength within the collective. Okay. We're not leaning on external information. We're not leaning on other people to give us our answers, to give us our validation. We are able to now self resource what we need by healing these wounds once and for all, and being able to show up in a very authentic way, strong, and be able to have harmonious relationships with those who we are working with, those who we are engaging with in our own personal life. Okay. So again, this is a very significant next 6 months, and it is going to be much easier for you to be able to release than you probably suspected. So along with looking at the overlighting energies for each one of you in your sign, I will also pull cards, a card or cards, and usually ends up being cards, right? Cards for the final outcome. What will the final outcome at the end of this 6 months, or as this energy purges from your field, what will that look like for you? What is that final outcome? And I'm sure it's going to be significant for each one of us. So I hope that was helpful and not confusing, to be able to draw those parallels from the mythology, which really explains, personifies explaining, um, energies. That's what the mythology does, is it gives us some insight to, the energies through personifying or having people or gods. Are not really, I guess a person, right? A person being able to hold the energies. So again, let's not continue going on here. Again, I hope that was very helpful. Let's go ahead and dive into the cards for each one of you. One more thing. Okay, one more thing. Um, so I have started to say I wanted you guys to watch for your sun, because that is going to be your uh like I said, father figure, father in masculine energy in you and your external world and your purpose. Okay. This is very connected to what propels you forward, what keeps you moving in this life. Okay. Watch for your rising if you have that information, and that is going to be your whole self. Okay. And watch for your moon, because that again is your mother figure, but also the inner workings of you, how your mind works, how you think about things, the things that you eat, and taking in your home. So think inward for your moon. Okay, that's what that is. It's what's going on that everybody isn't necessarily seeing. What's going on inside of you, how you process things is going to be your moon. It's also a really great idea for you to watch for your Venus as well, because Venus is an active part of this, right? And Venus is your loves, like love and money. And she, but a lot of times people will watch their Venus for not only money, but for how people attract to them, what type of people they attract, that kind of thing. So you can, take the information and apply it to which one of these areas of your life or your chart, if you do have that information. Also, if you are interested in not having to wait for the content to be released throughout the week, to be able to get all of these, please join my Patreon community, and you will have access to all of the videos on Mondays. And you won't have to wait to watch for each one of those placements in your life. Or if you're wanting to cross watch for somebody who is significant for you, that's always very helpful for navigating your life as well. So, okay, now let's begin. Okay, Pisces, let's find out what spirit has to say to you in regards to rewriting your story, overcoming any wound that you have held with you your entire life, and what medicine it becomes to bless your life and, of course, lives of others as you move forward. Okay. Uh-huh. That is the Six of Swords we're starting with. We have the King of Swords, and we have the Magician. Okay. All right. So six, and at the bottom of the deck is where you feel like you have been stuck and trapped, and you are able to free yourself. Okay. So the Six of Swords is where you go from turbulent emotional waters, and you are a water sign, so we're turbulently turbulent emotions to calm waters and bright skies. This is an information card. Okay, so based on just even these two pieces of information right here, with the Six of Swords and the Eight of Swords, so this would be where you bind yourself, right? This what's underneath. Where you have felt bound is what's pushing everything forward when it's at the bottom of the deck. So the six is where you go deep into yourself, into your subconscious, right? Into your own personal underworld. This says that kind of like Pluto, Hades energy, where you've gone down through there and you release. Okay. You release and you gain wisdom. This is, I mean, literally exactly what we were talking about earlier, where you gain the wisdom and insights so that you can pull yourself out of the turbulence, out of the challenge, out of the emotional state that you had been in that didn't feel great. And you align with the truth of who you are. This is pure truth. This is Aquarius. This is where you have a balance between intuition and action. Okay. And you make a very clear decision in what? In manifesting the life that you want in a balanced way, opening up infinite possibilities for yourself. All right, so let's go ahead and bring in the Tarot of the Sacred Kingdoms to get clarifiers for each one of these cards. Okay, so I'm asking for at least 2 clarifiers for each one of the 3. The Devil, not surprising there. That would be subconscious programming. Not something you're unfamiliar with, Pisces, right? Subconscious programming that did not serve you, that was binding you. All right. And you discover it. I believe you discover it. Oh my God. It will literally now begin working with the forces of the universe for your benefit. I mean, if it happened that fast, you went down into your own personal underworld. You looked at the beliefs that you held that weren't working for you, and you aligned yourself with source and opened up your heart to be able to work with these universal energies in order to what? Manifest your life. Okay. So let's go ahead with the authentic truth of who you are, the King of Swords, and let's get some clarifiers for that. So none of these have been really hard, very difficult, I have to say, with Pisces being the last video that I'm recording. None of them have been very hard. And I had said that in the beginning, like it's going to be easier than healing pretty much anything that we have before because of the support that we have from Venus and Leo. Now, the 10 of Cups here, happy home, happy family, emotionally and supportive environment. So the truth of who you authentically are is emotionally supportive environment. Either that's the environment around you or maybe it's your internal environment. But here we have the Hierophant. The Hierophant is the one that is holding the appropriate way or the the proper way of going about things, a traditional way of going about something. So, hmm, Hmm. There's something about that Hierophant that makes me go, hmm. So let's keep going here. All right. So the Magician and Temperance. Okay. Temperance is where you are able to alchemize. Both of these cards are about alchemy. This is literally alchemy right here. Right. So, so I'm beginning to, and then the Four of Swords is reversed. Okay. So the Four of Swords talks about you being able to be um calm, relaxed, aligned, meditated. And through that meditative state, you then go out into the world and you begin to experience the world that you have created through spirit, right? So if you know understand that your higher self or your divine spirit is extracting all the positive preference out of any negative or challenging experience that you've had, and now as you align yourself with that by quieting your mind, you're able to now tap into that reality that your higher self has prepared for you. So this right here, it is a little bit like so it's begging me to go just a little bit further into it. So if what we're looking at what you healed, this wound right here, and was that around the way that your family had gone about things, the way that the home environment had told you that things were, and you being able to see the truth beyond that? Um so yeah, we need to go a little bit deeper. I'm going to go ahead and pull from the traditional deck here because everything here looks great. This is where you again balance yourself. You alchemize what? You alchemized tradition. You alchemized what you had been told was the proper way to go about home life. So you healed from, I think that what you did was you were able to heal what you thought was where you gained your emotional well-being from, where you thought you did, but it was actually binding you by giving all of this energy right here. And you're seeing the truth of it. You're seeing the truth of where you had been putting your energy into. And maybe what that is that you had been taught that you were supposed to be emotionally supportive to everybody else. That's what this feels like. Where you had been taught that you had to be emotionally, and somewhere you picked up from something, some ancestral wound here that you had picked up that you had to be emotionally supportive for everybody else. Okay. And now you're beginning to balance that out with bringing it where? Home. Okay. And putting that emotional energy into your own creative energy, or your own creative ventures. What it is that you want to create, what world you want to decide for yourself. Okay. This is what is going to release you from being bound, is by understanding that it's not about you being emotionally supportive to everybody else, which Pisces naturally are. But there was something that said the way that you would have to go about that was not healthy. Okay. And you're seeing the truth of that now. So let's go ahead and get some more information here. What else the spirit wants you to understand about moving forward? We have the Queen of clarity about your future. Oh my gosh. Clarity about your future. That is a tough one for you guys, isn't it? To know, to see clearly, and be able to take action on your future, because and align with your own personal purpose, not necessarily taking care of everybody else's emotions, but aligning with your purpose. That's not those. We're not going to use those. Um, flip this one around. Okay, so that was interesting because I had dropped this card, these a couple of these cards, this one and this one. Okay. Which is where you are able to be successful in your own personal world. You literally align with your personal purpose. It opens up this new doorway for you, and it's very victorious. But when I went and I had seen that with the other two decks, there were cards, one in each deck, that had fallen out as well, that I did not see earlier. And what is it? It is the Queen of Swords again and the King of Wands. Oh my God, this is literally where you use the information that you gain from this clear mind, this open, clear mind, and this clarity that you got here, you use it toward your future and taking action. So this is really incredible, Pisces, because I know that it can be difficult for you guys to actually know what your purpose is, to know what action to take, and to be able to move forward clearly and confidently, which both clearly and confidently are depicted right there. Okay, so this is the King of Wands. This is happiness. This is purpose. This is joy. And you are successful at it. You are very successful at what it is that you pursue. Okay. What is this final outcome for you then, Pisces? What is the final outcome? Is you the breaking of the karmic cycle, okay, and self mastery. Oh my God. So you become this authority, this strong, action oriented, mature authority in your own life. Okay. So, what authority on where you have felt that you were wounded, authority in, like, you draw off of that wound right here is where we see that you draw off of that wound in order to um become. I think that this, like, the emperor is someone that people are going to come to for answers. Okay. So you're going to be able to direct other people in places where they had been taking on other people's wounds before, where you have broken your cycle. You now become an authority on the subject of helping other people who have that carry that same wound become the authority in their own life. And here we see that the sun, again, this is the King of Wands, again, with this Leo energy, where your entire life becomes fun. It becomes childlike play. It becomes pleasurable. Instead of taking on everybody else's emotions, you pursue your own personal joy and happiness. Your personal joy and happiness. It's that simple for you guys, really, Pisces. This is not a difficult read. This is like so easy. Like I said, this was not healing this wound, this final like push, this final release of healing the karmic wound of Chiron within our lives has been much, much easier than ever before. And it's literally like we slide past it. I told you Venus was supporting us through that Leo energy of happiness and joy. And there's where you literally become the adventurer, the traveler, the pursuing. Like this is where you go out there and you learn about life hands on. And at the bottom of the deck here is Venus in a water sign, where it opens up all of these potentials for you. So you literally are about to break the spell that has bound you around taking care of everybody else emotionally. You mature in your self mastery. You are able to show others how it's possible by being, I think, an example. Sure, they can, uh, and maybe that ends up becoming your purpose, is to show other people in a clear, balanced, action-oriented way how to align themselves with their own personal sense of adventure, their own creation, and be able to free themselves and create the life that they want. Oh my God. So, and it opens up worlds for you. It literally does. It opens up the entire world to you, Pisces. And it's going to be simple. It's going to be very easy, where all of a sudden you have this moment of clarity and you realize the truth is, I had it in me all along to just choose myself, choose my own happiness, and not take on everybody else's burdens. That's their responsibility. And I can be an example, but I don't have to take it on. And I can use my energy to bless my own life and pursue my own intentions, my own travel, my own creations. And so I don't know, maybe this is where you get the license to be a therapist. I don't know. My daughter's a Pisces, and I have talked to her about she's really interested in like nail tech. And it's not what she's doing in life, but she's always had an interest in doing people's nails. I said, you know, if you were to open your own, salon and you did nails for people, people would be able to talk to you about what's going on in their lives, and you would be able to give them advice because she knows that she wants to be able to help other people. But this is being done in a way that she's not carrying them. She's literally showing them, she's sharing with them what she had done to liberate herself. And so, what does that look like for you? What do you want to create? How do you want to be adventurous in your own life? And how can you share that knowledge with other people in a way that you're no longer carrying them? And you are going to be victorious because you're going to have that. This is literally where you break that subconscious cycle right there. And you are victorious. This is very strong, powerful energy for you, Pisces, where you night and day difference from where you have lived your life in order to be able to bless others' lives by you being the strongest version of yourself and not weighed down anymore. Okay, Pisces, I hope that this was very helpful for you. I appreciate you being here. And I want to pull one more card. I want to pull one more card here for you for that final outcome. Let's go ahead and see what Spirit has to say about. I mean, we saw the Emperor, we saw the purpose, we saw Align with Your Purpose there, but I want to pull one more card here. I just thought there's another one in the deck for you. Hmm. Right? The High Priestess. The High Priestess. Limitless possibilities for you. You now tap into your intuition that gives you the limitless potentials in your own life. But here's the deal. You will have clarity on the action to take like you never have before. Okay, Pisces? Well, this is amazing. And I really love to hear from each of you about how this is impacting your life, the clarity that you're receiving, and what you're planning to do with that. All right. Again, thank you so much for joining me. Know that I love you and that Source adores you. I'll see you in the next video.